Now, typically I make videos about electric cars and renewables, and I normally offer help and guidance and advice to you guys watching my videos. But today I need your help because this video is going to be about my own selfish needs, about how I need to change my electric vehicle. I'm going to tell you why this decision's got a lot harder than it has in previous years, some of the things I want on a car and some of the things I really want to avoid on a car, which cars I really don't want, and I'm hoping you, the community, can offer me help and advice on cars you may have driven, seen, or you actually personally think would fit my needs perfectly. So today is going to be one of the most interactive and basically slightly selfish videos of mine I've ever made. So when I bought my first electric car back in 2016, my choices were between 5 electric car models that were for sale at the time, and only 3 of them were actually physically within my budget. So my choices were pretty much easy. I was a lot younger back then, had a lot less money back then, and I had a lot less things to worry about. Now, my needs have completely changed, my budgets have completely changed. I'm now a family man with a kid, and I also have something else that's going to be happening in my life, which means my needs are massively going to change. I'm going to be talking about what that massive change is going to be in this video. Now, this car personally isn't directly for me, although I will be driving it fairly frequently. It's actually for my wife, so we're going to be changing her car for this car. Now, very, very specific. She does not want a Tesla, so no Tesla suggestions, please. No Tesla suggestions. She does not like the fact that it has a screen in the middle. We've got one already. She doesn't like it, and she's also not a big fan that the newer Teslas don't have the ultrasonic sensors. And seeing she doesn't wash her car ever, ultrasonic sensors missing and cameras only vision system doesn't work particularly well when it's dirty. She wants a high up seating position and a fairly larger car than what we've currently got. Small cars and hatchbacks are not going to fit the needs for what we need, and we're going to explain why that is in this video. Again, it's a very special surprise. Now, if you're new to my channel, you won't be aware, about 2 years ago, my wife had our son, and we've got a toddler, and a toddler comes with extra needs. Now, back then I changed my car just before my toddler came, and we got a Corsa E. Vauxhall Corsa E was on a really good deal just after COVID, and we bought that on lease. Now, I can get rid of that anytime. It's not like me to lease a car. I'm in the used car trade. I sell and buy used DVs all the time. In fact, right now I've got about 7 or 8 different types of electric vehicles in, but it's not going to fit our needs because the Corsa E couldn't fit his pram in. It was a nightmare. Now, luckily, he's moved over to a pushchair, which just about fits in the Corsa E. The problem is, I thought, well, I've already got one child, and that's taken a lot of my time up. So, in for a penny, in for a pound. We're due and expecting in October our second child, so that means that we will need a car that can fit a pram in, and basically we need a bigger boot to cope with 2 children, 2 pushchair, one pushchair in the back, and also the fact that we're going to have 2 car seats in the back. So ideally, we would like to possibly fit my wife in the middle. Now, thank God that she is very small and very titchy. She will fit in the middle of most cars. She probably would fit in the back of the Corsa at a pinch, but with all the extra stuff that's going to be going in the boot, we don't want to get we can't fit a pram in the boot. It basically doesn't work unless you fold one of the seats forward. So when you're going to have 2 toddler seats in the back, the pram will not fit in a Corsa E. In fact, if you're thinking of getting a Corsa E, I suggest that you get a Renault Zoe. They've got a bigger boot, and what's what we had previously. And if I stuck with that, this wouldn't have been a problem right now. Now, we have a pretty large budget. We've got about a £25,000 budget. Now, ideally, I'd like to spend a little bit less than 25,000, but 25,000 is the maximum. Nothing over 25. That is the absolute bar. That is it. Ideally, under that, 20 grand, 19 would be wonderful, but if it has to be £24,999, I can stretch to that budget. I'd rather not. Now, it needs to be at least 230-mile range and ideally at least 150 kilowatts of charging. This means that we can use it as a main family vehicle for driving long distances, and we don't have to worry about changing car seats over all the time, because changing car seats over is a pain in the neck. So ideally, I want the car seats in my wife's car. I don't want to keep switching them to the Tesla and forward and backwards. So ideally, a family car that can do those things would really fit our needs. But there's a couple of things more we want, but I'm interested in some wildcard entries. So start leaving your comments with some suggestions that you might have that fit the needs so far. Now, for everyone who's just typed Kona, I'm sorry, it will not work. It's not big enough. It was on the list. The new Kona would work with a bigger boot, but unfortunately it's not going to hit my £25,000 budget, so you might be typing e-Nero. I don't particularly like the e-Nero. That's discounted out as well. Really sorry for everyone who's just typed them. It also has to have a couple of extras on it. It needs to have front sensors. It needs to have rear sensors. It needs to have a reverse camera. You can see why this is a difficult job for someone who's in the car trade, because I know how much choice there is, and it also has to be approved by my wife. So it has to be something that she likes the look of. Now, luckily, she's not particularly fussy. I've shown her a range of different cars and she does like them. Now, she's said she's not a fan of the Ioniq 5, but we are going to everything electric, and we would have been by the time you see this video. So hopefully she might have come round to that idea, because that is a possibility even on my list. But I don't know whether it'll sit high enough in her sitting high position what she wants. Now, we don't need a car that does Octopus Intelligent, because our car already does that. So don't worry about that. Our Charger does that, not the car. I have always said, pick the Charger over the car on Intelligent Octopus. Now, if you're in the same position as me, let me know in the comments. If you've thought of any suggestions that fit me, don't forget to write them in the comments. Now, if you're wondering why I say pick the Charger over the car, then I've done some videos here about all the chargers you should look at, but also done a video here on Octopus Intelligent and why I prefer picking the Charger over the car.